Andrews here, and today I'm going to be talking to you guys about the new album from Thornbridge, Daydream Illusion. Now we open up with some circus type music for the backdrop, for the introduction song, Come On In. And I felt like this was the perfect introduction piece because it kind of lays this veil of eeriness and mystery over what the album will potentially deliver. I thought that was a really nice way to kind of deliver it and kind of add that sort of interesting landscape to what does kind of show up in the album. And I'll probably mention that mystery or that haze that appears a little later on. But it opens up with the title track, Daydream Illusion. This is really clear-cut, signature Thornbridge with its classic hooky riffs and choruses with the grand mighty choirs that they like to use. But one thing that really stood out for me from the signature sort of Thornbridge feel was just the little details, the little nuances in this track that gave it its own identity, from the rhythms and the leads, those little details. And I felt like they were a little different on this album compared to classic Thornbridge. There's a bit of a difference I felt that I kind of picked up as the album progressed, and I really started to notice some of that in the next song, Kingdom of Starlight. This had those fine guitar details that I like that elevate the song, but I felt like there was some productive and important kind of rhythm and chord progressions that really added some like heaviness and different elements to Thornbridge's music in general. I just felt there was a difference in some of these little subtleties that they were doing in this track, specifically in Kingdom of Starlight. I also like the crafty variations of the lead melodies throughout, and he tossed in some special little drum nuances, and you got a really kick-ass song in Kingdom of Starlight, and it's really early on in the album, so it was really gripping following the title track there, with a lot of catchiness and a lot of good hooks right off the bat. And the overall mood, I felt, was also had this dark haze on it. That's what I kind of mentioned in that little introduction, Come On In, that there was a bit of this eerie mystery, and I felt like it kind of started to show its face in Kingdom of Starlight. It's just that darker haze. I just found it really enticing, and it kind of continues on to the next track, I Am the Storm. At times this song really gave me like this feeling that there was like this musical storm, with the leads being kind of like sharp lightning, and at times dancing across the sky with the vocals. You had those two working well together, and then on the other side of that you had the drums and tremolo, and those were colliding like two thunderclouds in the sky. So you had these highs with the guitars, the lead guitars and the vocals, as the higher melodies, and you got the power and the bass of like the thunder clouds, like from the tremolo and the drums in I Am the Storm. And then I think I would say almost the power continues to grow, I felt, in two tracks back to back, Sacrifice and Island of My Memories. These songs both harness, I think, some more intensity from the riffs and speed, as well as that dark haze, that mystery, that eeriness is kind of continuing to grow in these two tracks. You kind of got the traditional Thornbridge, the speed is there for both of these songs, but I just felt the riffs just felt like tougher and more intense, even in little brief spots, like in the bridge and the fill parts. There was also a bit of that I really kind of picked up on. And the only reason it didn't this tougher feeling from the guitars and rhythms and stuff like that didn't kind of pop up in the choruses, I felt, or wasn't as aggressive, because the choruses from Thornbridge are generally more bright melodies, and the choir really helps elevate it, which kind of gives you a neat sort of contrast of moods with the heavier riffs and stuff, but like these bright choruses to go with them in Sacrifice and Island of My Memories. Nice back-to-back tracks, and I felt like this is where we go into all this intensity and all this sort of hate. I don't want to say dark, because it's not really that dark, but there's just a bit of atmosphere there that's a little different, and I felt there was a point to all this, and my thoughts on that were actually proven. It's I felt like, because it's for the pain and everything to build in the upcoming ballad, and to strike you even with more emotion as we're going and you're changing the mood, and then you go into this ballad piece. from Thornbridge, which is, I thought, was really well done. I really enjoyed this. Send Me a Light. The lyrics really leapt from the pages like an old novel, like a Charles Dickens novel. It captures despair, pain, and this thriving of hope. So you got these two different types of moods. I felt a lot of emotion from Jorn Nanender's vocals paired with the piano. He does a fantastic job on this track. You really get to feel what he does, and with the piano, he absolutely just nails it, and there's so much emotion behind that. And then a little halfway through the song, when the lead kicks in, you really get triggered, you know, to a whole nother tier of emotion, you know, adding the guitars and stuff like that, and all that emotion is like really builds together and segues into the capstone, which is the final chorus. So I always like that when you have like a very emotional piece, and then you kick in with some guitars that have strong melodies, strong emotion behind it, and then you come out of that little probably interlude, and then you go into another chorus and you elevate the octave and you put everything together, and you get a real emotional, atmospheric piece in Send Me a Light. Now I'm jumping down to My Last Desire. This contains some emotional highs and lows, but not in the traditional sense. I just felt like the lows were kind of like a bottom end, a more just straight tone, straightforward kind of, I don't know if I want to say placid is the right word, but anyways, I really felt like the riffs and leads had a certain tone in the verse. They were kind of just a step back compared to the more smooth and catchy happiness in the chorus with its vibrant melodies. I just felt like there was some separation there, and I liked kind of that mood in the verse. It really had this interesting, tough mood to it, which is kind of what I've explained, you know, talked about going through the album, that there is that's in there. I also kind of like the fire in My Last Desire. The hard-hitting nature of the drums and guitars paired in there really made for a good combination as well, you know. And then you have the chorus, which really popped, probably because of that low-end verse, in my opinion. The last song in the album I really liked as well, Lost on the Dark Side. This one I felt had a few different moods and messages being delivered in there. The verse combo of the rhythms and drums really conveyed this lost journey in the dark, you know, kind of like Lost in the Woods sort of thing, and how the angst would build. And I felt like the angst musically came from the lead guitar and this kind of panic. I kind of felt this panic that sort of grew out of that, and it kind of grew into the solo and interlude pieces there that I really liked. And I liked that they had that atmosphere again, that little mystery, that darkness, I guess I was saying, and it kind of comes full circle from the introduction song, Come On In. But at the end of this album, you know, that we get, though, out of Lost on the Dark Side, is we get a little bit of hope and light from the vocals in the chorus. And I kind of like that there's that mixture in this track of like that hope and light, and then we got a little bit of that mystery and darkness, and it's kind of been floating around on the album. Anyways, that's it for Daydream Illusion. You know, I really thought they did an interesting thing here. They added some new elements, they got some new depth. And I like that Thornbridge kind of expanded a little bit here and there on these tracks, giving us some new flavors. And of course, all the links for Thornbridge's Daydream Illusion will be in the description below for you guys to check out if you desire. And that will be all, you know. Also, I'll have links to where you can get the album and stuff like that as well. And check out these guys, Ordenogan, Sebastian Lieberman, you know, did the production on them, and there's definitely some similarities between Ordenogan and Thornbridge, which is always cool because they're both kick-ass bands in my opinion. So feel free, check out Daydream Illusions. And until next time, folks, how about some heavy listening?